It is Wednesday, October 21. Welcome to CGN News. Education ministers across the region have proposed that the Caribbean Examination Council, the CXC, commit to a total waiver of fees for reviews of the 2020 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations, CAPE. Ministers of Education from Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua and Guyana held discussions with CXC Registrar Dr. Wayne Wesley on Monday. The discussions were based on the report submitted by the independent review team set up by CXC to review the queries of the CAPE CSEC 2020 examinations. At Monday's meeting, matters such as the extension of the deadline for queries and reduction in the cost for requests for reviews were put on the table. The meeting also discussed the abandonment of the CXC policy and practice of grade diminution. The students of prominent all-boy high school Jamaica College are celebrating their adjusted grades after being stumped when earlier Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC results showed that over 90% of them had failed English A. The adjusted exam results show that the 299 boys who sat English A performed as well as expected, with almost all of them passing. Acting Principal Wayne Robinson told the Gleaner that the school was awaiting the updated results from the other subject areas which it has queried. Robinson said the unusual circumstances under the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused CXC to use only a multiple-choice paper and the school-based assessments SBAs to determine final grades, could have caused the problem. Chairperson of Guyana's main opposition party, Valda Lawrence, is due to appear in court today, Wednesday, for the third time since the coalition government lost the disputed March 2 general election. Lawrence, who was questioned Tuesday, was told to report to court today when fresh charges are expected to be laid against her. Last week, the former government minister appeared in court on charges of conspiracy. She was released on bail. In August, Lawrence was placed on 100,000 Guyanese dollars bail in relation to a private criminal charge filed against her by current Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, Charles Ramson Jr. Lawrence has maintained her innocence on all the charges. The opposition coalition has accused the government of using the police force to unleash psychological warfare against former government ministers and supporters. Caribbean youth advocates have called for action in areas of priority for their peers with the launch on Monday of the Caribbean Roadmap for Adolescent and Youth Health. The purpose of the roadmap is to provide strategic guidance on actions member states should take to address adolescent health in their local setting. It is the culmination of 3 days of discussion last November with close to 200 Congress participants. The launch showcased the involvement of young advocates in the design, moderation, and content of the event, hosted by the United Nations Population Fund and the Pan American Health Organization. Joining to formally declare the roadmap launched was Guyana's Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, who commended the young people and the partners for the collective wisdom encapsulated in the document. National Commercial Bank, the NCB Jamaica Limited, has been named in Global Finance's list of the world's safest banks in 112 countries. According to Global Finance, headquartered in New York, the safest banks by country were selected through an evaluation of long-term foreign currency ratings from Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch, and the total assets of the 1,000 largest banks worldwide. NCB Chief Executive Officer Septimus Bob Blake on Tuesday expressed pride at the award and thanked the bank's staff and customers. The 29th annual World's Safest Banks rankings were released on Monday and posted on Global Finance's website. The publication stated that the awards have become a trusted standard of excellence for the global financial community. Guyana's Civil Defense Commission, the CDC, reported today, Wednesday, that it has made several analyses and modeling of the potential threat of an oil spill from a tanker which is listing with 173,000 tons of oil cargo off the coasts of Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago in the Gulf of Paria. The prognosis for the FSO Nabarima, which bears the Venezuelan flag, does not show any direct impact on Guyana's shores or marine ecosystem. Indirectly, it may affect fisherfolk who are licensed to operate in surrounding waters off the coast of Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. There are concerns that if its contents become discharged into the Gulf of Paria, it can become a major disaster that affects Caribbean countries. FSO Nabarima, a floating storage and offloading vessel, is permanently moored offshore in the Gulf of Paria. It fell into a state of disrepair and was reported in 2020 to be at risk of spilling her cargo of about 1.3 million barrels of crude oil. United Kingdom researchers are preparing to infect healthy young volunteers with the COVID-19 virus, becoming the first scientists to use the controversial technique to study the disease. This type of research is used infrequently because some consider the risk involved in infecting otherwise healthy individuals to be unethical. But researchers racing to combat COVID-19 say that risk is warranted because such studies have the potential to quickly identify the most effective vaccines and help control a disease that has killed more than 1.1 million people worldwide. The government plans to invest £33.6 million in the research. The United States government's top public health agency is raising the importance of wearing face masks on planes, trains, and buses. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued new interim guidelines for travelers, including a strong recommendation to wear face coverings to slow the spread of COVID-19. The CDC said its advice on masks should be followed by passengers and workers on planes, ferries, trains, subways, buses, and ride-sharing vehicles. The new guidance issued Monday includes more specific advice for travelers than CDC has previously given. The Federal Aviation Administration has declined to require masks, passing over requests by airline labor groups. Instead, the Transportation Department issued health guidelines in July that left mask requirements and enforcement to individual airlines. The doping charges brought against Bahrain's 400-meter world champion Salwa Ed Nasser have been dismissed, the Athletics Integrity Unit AIU announced on Tuesday. The 22-year-old Nasser was provisionally suspended in June and charged with failing to meet whereabouts criteria. But the World Athletics Disciplinary Tribunal said the circumstances would have been comical were the consequences not so serious. The AIU charged Nasser with 4 alleged whereabouts failures, which included 3 missed tests between March 2019 and January 2020. The tribunal ruled, however, that the April 2019 case cannot be confirmed as a missed test by the athlete, meaning Nasser had not missed 3 tests within the 12 months required to prove an anti-doping violation. Also in January, the Bahrain Athletics Federation had delegated the task of updating Nasser's whereabouts to one of her officials, but he bungled by sleeping through the morning deadline to update her location. A Swedish housing developer last week offered a cash reward for any tips leading to the return of 2 police officers missing from a police station, or more precisely, statues depicting them. The 2 bronze statues, named the Guardian and the Police Constable, have guarded the gate of a former police station in the southern city of Malmö since it was built in 1934. The developer is converting the station into apartments, but said the statues were an important part of the building's history. Project manager Emil Nilsson told AFP. The officers have been missing for a few months already, and with no leads, Riksbyggen is now offering a reward of 10,000 Swedish krona, $1,100 or 960 euros to anyone with information leading to the unharmed return of the police officers. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.